we're very excited to have Keegan Scott with us here today to give us information about the Fulbright Scholar Program. This is our information session. I'm from the Fulbright Committee on campus that organizes these events with, we have Claire Anumba and Mabel Kardec here also to help us. So they are our major organizers. So Keegan is an Outreach and Recruitment Officer with the Fulbright U.S. Scholar Program. And as a Fulbright U.S. alumnus, student alumnus to Bulgaria in 2017, from 2017 to 2020, and a former EducationUSA Turkey graduate student intern, he is passionate about international exchange and education. He holds an MA in Eurasian, Russian, and East European Studies from Georgetown University. And Keegan speaks Bulgarian and Turkish. He's the only American to have received the Bulgarian Ministry of Education and Science's highest accolade. So welcome, Keegan, and we're very excited to hear what you have to tell us about the Fulbright Scholar Program.
Great. Thank you so much, Swapna, and thank you, Claire, for inviting me today. I'm very excited to be here, although I truly wish I was there physically in Florida, as it is a cool rainy day here in DC, but alas, here we are. But yes, as Swapna mentioned, my name is Keegan Scott. I'm an Outreach and Recruitment Officer with the Fulbright Scholar Program, which is funded by the U.S. Department of State and administered by the Institute of International Education, which is where my colleagues and I work. I'm very excited to be here today to, of course, discuss the opportunities for the 2025-2026 Fulbright Scholar Program. I will note some housekeeping. If you do have any questions, please be sure to use, you're welcome to use the chat function, and I'll be able to answer them at the end of the session, or you can, of course, wait. It is certainly up to you. But to begin with, I want to give an overview of what to expect in today's presentation. Firstly, I will have I'll share an overview of what is the Fulbright program. I'll discuss why you should consider Fulbrights. I'll outline the eligibility requirements and, of course, the types of awards for the 2025-2026 competition. I'll then share tips for submitting a strong application, and then at the end we'll have times for Q&A. Great. So, of course, firstly about the Fulbright program, it's really, an interesting, it is, the U.S. government's flagship international education and cultural exchange program established in 1946 by the U.S. Congress. And it allows, very much passionate and accomplished faculty, administrators, journalists, artists, and other professionals like yourself to partake in opportunities to teach, research, or conduct professional projects in over 160 countries worldwide. At its core, the Fulbright program, Fulbright program's mission is to foster mutual understanding, advance knowledge, and of course, connect people and nations. Now, as a part of that work, the Fulbright program understands that diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility is at the forefront of all stages of the Fulbright application, selection, and beyond process. Certainly, the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs believes that public diplomacy is most effective when people of diverse backgrounds and perspectives participates in these people-to-people exchanges. The Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs is committed to addressing barriers based on race, ethnicity, color, national origin, sex, age, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, religion, geographic location, education, income, socioeconomic status, and other diversity dimensions that may ultimately hinder inclusion in the Fulbright program. So Fulbright itself is an umbrella term which describes many different exchanges within the broader Fulbright program. Here we have several pillars of what is the core Fulbright program. Generally, it's divided based on citizenship and degree requirements. We have the Fulbright U.S. Scholar and the Fulbright U.S. Student programs, which are opportunities for U.S. citizens to go abroad. On the other hand, we have the Foreign Student and the Visiting Scholar programs, which are opportunities for non-U.S. citizens to come to the United States. So as you can see, the U.S. Scholar Program, although it is one of the smallest pieces of the Fulbright puzzle, it is one of the most strategic. Without the Fulbright Scholar Program, we would not have opportunities for Fulbright students to go abroad, as well as to bring those visiting scholars and foreign students here to the United States.
That's right.
So why should you consider the Fulbright program? Perhaps one of the most widely used terms to describe Fulbright by our alums is transformational. The Fulbright Scholar Program is an opportunity to foster sustainable partnerships, expand your publishing network, serve as a cultural ambassador, gain the professional recognition as a Fulbrighter, and of course, join a vibrant and supportive network of thousands of Fulbright alums. Of course, it's certainly an opportunity for folks like yourself to teach, research, and carry out professional projects abroad.
So that it can proceed with.
Additionally, Fulbright is family friendly. Approximately 60% of our awards provide dependent support, and even if our opportunities do not provide dependent support, it is still very much possible to take a partner or children along with you on your grants experience. We have found that, of course, many Fulbright dependents themselves go on to have international careers later on. And lastly, Fulbright is supportive. 70% of applicants engage with my colleagues and I here at the Institute of International Education, and you do receive continued support while in country from both IIE and host country staff. And of course, you have access to thousands of Fulbright Scholar liaisons, like Claire, as well as alums as resources while you apply. All right, so diving into the eligibility requirements for the Fulbright Scholar Program. Firstly, applicants must be U.S. citizens. Unfortunately, green card holders or permanent residents are not able to apply for the Fulbright Scholar Program. I will note that every award is slightly different when it comes to parameters regarding dual citizenship. So if you are a dual citizen, you may be eligible. Just read the award carefully to see if there are specific requirements around dual citizenship as well as residency in other countries. When it comes to degree and experience, most Fulbright Scholar Awards do require a PhD or terminal degree. However, there are plenty of opportunities which do not require a PhD or terminal degree. And in those cases, you would need a graduate degree with experience teaching and or other professional experience. For those who are professionals or artists, we are looking for folks with substantial accomplishments and certainly who have had a lot of time in their fields building their own portfolios. For most opportunities, we are looking for experienced educators. So note that, if you are, of course, have, teach courses and so on, that is a priority in many places around the world. Now, if anyone is an alum on this call, we do have eligibility requirements surrounding those reapplying as an alum. Essentially, 2 years must have elapsed before your previous Fulbright Scholar grant before you can reapply. And so, in short, if you have, if your grant ended before September 15th, 2022, you would be eligible to apply for the 2025-2026 competition, as the deadline is September 16th, 2024. I will note that this requirement does not apply to the Fulbright Specialist Program. Although I won't be speaking very much about the Fulbright Specialist Program, if people have shown interest in the Fulbright Specialist Program, you may apply for both the Scholar and Specialist Program at the same time. All right. So what can I do to, of course, receive a Fulbright Scholar Award? Firstly, start by finding the award for you. We offer over 400 individual awards in more than 100 countries to teach, teach and research, carry out a professional project, or even attend a seminar. You can go to fulbrightscholars.org/awards/search to see the catalog offerings for the 2025-2026 competition. Now, the important thing to note is that when applying, or if you're applying for the cycle, you may only apply for one award per competition. So keep in mind, it's very important to find the award that best fits your profile, your discipline, and of course your own experience, abroad, and as well as perhaps language expertise. So something to note, of course, about the Fulbright Scholar Awards are the actual award types themselves that support research, teaching, and or professional projects. Firstly, you will see that Scholar Awards are, the term that we describe all of our opportunities as. So simply, we may say Scholar Awards, that refers to all 400 awards. Now, as a part of that, we do have subsets of awards. Firstly, the postdoctoral opportunities are a specific section, specific set of awards for those who have completed their PhD within 5 years, within the past 5 years. So again, this is for early career academics and so on. Now, if there are folks on the call who have had, who have decades of experience, the Distinguished Scholar Awards may be for you. Like the postdoctoral awards, this is a specific subset geared towards those with anywhere from 7 to 10 plus years of experience. It does depend on the award, as some awards may require to have 13 years of experience within your field. I encourage you to think about both the postdoctoral awards and Distinguished Scholar Awards, as they are often overlooked, but they're often very specific, which means that it's a smaller applicant pool. So certainly consider those depending on your own career profile. For our awards, they do vary in length from anywhere from 2 months to 12 months, with what I would say the average being anywhere from 5 months to 10 months. So keep that in mind, that this time frame is often long. We do also have what's called the flex option. This is offered in 60 countries, and it allows you to break up your grant experience into smaller sections. So usually you can do 2 to 3 segments within a 2-year period. So this is really great if your, say, research requires you to do an activity, a certain type of activity at a different time frame. I will note that for most awards, you do have to start, most awards that do offer the flex option, you do have to start during the 2025-2026 academic year. And it may not be possible to do these necessarily in the summertime. So again, you may be able to start in that, academic year. And of course, sometimes you may be able to do that, in subsequent summers, but that may not be the case. So be sure to read the award description carefully to see what the flex option looks like. So 2 other opportunities I want to mention on this call. So firstly, we have what's called the Fulbright Public Policy Fellowship. And this is a really unique opportunity for professionals in public policy or public policy adjacent fields to act as essentially consultants or technical specialists within a foreign government ministry or institution. So this is, for early career professionals, who have at least 3 years of experience and are looking to do some sort of, high impact project in one of 10 countries abroad that participate in the Fulbright Public Policy Fellowship. Certainly, if you even have, students or colleagues, this might be a great opportunity for them to do this unique grant. We also have what's called the Fulbright International Education Administrator Awards, simply known as IEA Awards. This allows administrators who work with international education programs to a certain extent, whether this is at your institution or even at nonprofits, to participate in what is a 2-week seminar in a specific country. Currently, we have six countries who are participating in this particular program, and the deadline is, I will note, a little bit different, as we do have 6 deadlines throughout the year. But it's a really great way to learn more about a country's higher education system, as well as make those linkages with institutions in that particular place. Again, if you are a faculty member who has some sort of administrative role with international education in a broader context, you could still be eligible for these opportunities. All right. So when it comes to selecting the right award, it's important to, of course, read the award closely, as the descriptions vary, and there are very important details within it. So firstly, it's important to look at the activity type. So as you can see on the right, we do have 4 main activity types teaching and research, and professional projects. Be sure to make sure that the award you're looking in has the activity type that you are most interested in. It always happens every year. I receive a phone call a few days before the deadline that says, Keegan, I'm applying for this award in research, but it doesn't list it. Where can I select research? Again, not all awards offer all activity types. So make sure that you're selecting the award that has the one of your interest. Additionally, think, of course, about the country that matches your interest, expertise, career profile, as well as your project proposal to the award description. Think about the impact you would have in that country, as well as the feasibility, right? And this ties into things like language ability. If you have language experience, fantastic. There are certainly opportunities around the world that do require or recommend a foreign language. However, most of our awards do not require a foreign language, but may ask you to think about the feasibility of conducting your project, especially if it is research in that language. So again, these are questions to think about when applying. I will note too that we have most of our awards are in all disciplines, but we do have awards that are specific to disciplines. So be sure to look and search for awards that are most closely related to your field, as that of course means it's a smaller applicant pool when you apply. So of course, keep that in mind. And lastly, think about the benefits, right? Not only your impact during your grant, but after your grant. Fundamentally, at its core, the Fulbright program is about mutual exchange. So think about your work as a cultural ambassador. I will note that, of course, we do have regional and a global award. Regional opportunities often allow you to work in more than one country in a specific region, and the Global Scholar Award often allows you to work across world regions in more than one country. I will say that, of course, often these opportunities, the regional and the Global Scholar Awards, are attractive. Oftentimes, I encourage applicants to think about a country-specific opportunity, as usually the Global Scholar Award, for example, and some of the regional awards are some of the most popular opportunities. So again, consider the country and award most closely related to your interest. And as I noted, you can only apply for one award per application cycle. All right, so a little bit about the application components. Firstly, there is an application form. We do have a system within Slate to create your application. This, of course, will be the structure of the framework for your application components listed after that. So within that, you will have you must upload a 3 to 5 page project statement. I certainly advise applicants to use all 5 pages, as it is a missed opportunity not to use that space to, of course, convey your project. Fundamentally, the peer review committees cannot assume what you intend on doing. So be sure that you're completing, using that space for your project statement. Additionally, you have to upload a CV or a resume. There are certain parameters on the length, depending on if it's just a scholar award or a distinguished scholar award. You must also upload 2 letters of recommendation. And by upload, I mean, you input their email, and your recommenders will receive, an invitation to upload their letters of recommendation. Fundamentally, the 2 letters, one must be from someone in your discipline and another from your institution. If you do teaching or teaching and research, one of those letters should be from someone who can speak to your abilities as an educator. Fundamentally, they're often, we're looking for someone who has supervised your teaching, so that could be, a chair or so on. But what's important to note is that at its core, one must be from someone in your discipline and another from your institution. And of course, it's possible to have both letters from 2 people within your your institution and also from the same discipline. There can be some crossover in that regards. It just depends on who can, of course, speak best to your abilities. Additionally, some awards do require or recommend a language proficiency report. This is simply a 2-part requirement, one of which is a self-language evaluation, which is where you fill out information about the language, a language or multiple languages that you may know for that particular opportunity. And the second part would be an external language evaluation, which is where you ask someone who is an expert in that language to write, of course, complete the form about your own language abilities. Lastly, and this is a very important part I want to mention, is the letter of invitation. So the letter of invitation is really a 1 to 1.5 page document from a host institution that states, the dates of your project, what you intend on doing, and the benefits. It's a very simple document, but of course it can often be difficult to solicit a letter, especially if an award requires it. Now, certain awards within our catalog will either require, prefer, state that it's optional, or state that a letter of invitation should not be sought. So firstly, when you look at the award and select the award in which you intend to apply to, make sure that you are looking closely at those parameters to see whether or not a letter of invitation is required, as that often can determine whether you need to put in the effort to solicit such a letter. We have, of course, a lot of ways to make connections with institutions abroad. Firstly, within the award description, oftentimes we have parameters on who can be a host. Some awards allow applicants to select, to choose an appropriate host. Other awards may state that only these certain institutions can be host. Again, read the award description carefully. I will say that at least 3 more times in this presentation, so I hope folks are listening. When it comes to supplemental materials, if you are doing teaching or teaching and research, you will need to upload a course outline or a syllabi. So keep that in mind when applying. And if you are doing research or teaching and research, you will also have the opportunity to upload a reference list. And if you are in a certain discipline like arts, architecture, or journalism, you can upload a portfolio. So again, I encourage folks to maximize their application components, as fundamentally it's a missed opportunity if the review committee doesn't see the holistic application itself. Great. So to understand the award, this is just a screenshot of one of our awards to highlight. Firstly, be sure to go through each tab. As you can see in the red, the outline space in red, we have 4 tabs on every award: the award details, the award requirements, the award benefits, and the country area overview. Again, be sure to look at those closely as they outline what is possible. The award details will state more information about the possible dates, the award length, as well as the profile, whether or not a degree, a PhD or terminal degree is required, and of course, more information about which disciplines are possible. The award requirements will have more information about dual citizenship, as well as language requirements, and perhaps additional information about parameters involving, say, experience and education. The award benefits will share the information about the anticipated monthly stipend that you will receive, and it will also share information about whether or not an award dependent benefits are possible for that award. And of course, please take a look at the country area overview. Often there's information with potential contacts, and of course, there's really great resources for that particular place. All right. So some tips for a strong application. As I've said several times, read the award description. This is really the information where that outlines the award parameters itself. And I say this because the award description is the binational agreement between the U.S. and that particular host country. A lot of times I get calls saying, Keegan, do you have any extra information, any insider knowledge? And the answer is no. Everything I know is in that award description. So again, make sure that you are looking at each tab very closely. Secondly, start early. As I noted, when it comes to soliciting a letter of invitation or even letters of recommendation, it may take some time. Be sure to start your application, early, so you understand what exactly you need for the award that you are applying to. And thirdly, use IIE resources. My colleagues here at the Institute of International Education have many webinars, office hours, and of course, our website has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the, application steps, review criteria, and so on. So again, please take advantage of those resources to make a competitive application. As we say, applicants who follow instructions are always the most competitive. So that comes to, the award parameters as well as the application steps themselves. All right, so a little bit about the 2025-2026 Fulbright U.S. Scholar Competition. It has opened in February 2024, and the application deadline is September 16th at 5 p.m. Eastern. So this is really important to note. Traditionally, our deadline is September 15th, but as that falls on a Sunday, we are giving folks some extra time to submit their application. So I really recommend, and you can start your application and submit it tomorrow. It is not a rolling deadline. It is a firm deadline. So again, that application is September 16th. After you submit your application, my colleagues and I look at all applications for completeness. So this is called our technical review. If there are incomplete pieces, we reach out to you over email and ask that you complete these pieces by an extended deadline. Once those are complete, we then have what's called the U.S. peer review, where folks in the discipline that you selected in your application review all application components. So they will look, of course, holistically at those and either recommend or not recommend an application. Either way, you'll find out in December if your application was recommended to the next round or if it was not recommended. Then those who are recommended, those applications go to the in-country review. And the in-country review is simply those who are a part of the Fulbright commissions or the U.S. Embassy public affairs section. Those are the reviewers. So they look at the application to determine, of course, like the review criteria, if it's feasible and impactful. Ultimately, from that list of recommended applicants, they choose the selectees, the alternates, and the non-selectees, and send that to the Fulbright Foreign Scholarship Board, which is presidentially appointed here in Washington, D.C., for ultimate approval. Once those are approved, applicants are then notified, and those notifications will go out anywhere from January to June in 2025 for the 2025-2026 application cycle. That's a long time frame. But we understand that, of course, decisions need to be made, and we do our best to get those to you as soon as possible. Of course, as we are working with over 130 countries worldwide, you might understand that bureaucratic processes move a little different in each place. So, of course, obviously things may take a bit longer than expected. If you are selected, we will then have what's called a pre-departure orientation for you in June 2025, and you will then be able to go on your grants based on the, of course, parameters and the dates that is selected within your application. Great, so some other opportunities I wanted to highlight for folks on the call. So if you're interested in hosting a foreign Fulbrighter, there are many ways to do so. Firstly, we have what's called the Fulbright Scholar in Residence Program, and this is an opportunity to host a visiting scholar to teach for a semester or an academic year at your institution. I will note for the 2025-2026 competition for the Scholar in Residence Program, the competition usually opens up in January, and this year the deadline is in June. So, it doesn't take a lot to create an application to host someone, but again, this might be something of interest. For more information, go to fulbrightscholars.org/SIR. Now, if you're not ready to commit to the Scholar in Residence program, we do have a short-term program called the Outreach Lecturing Fund. This is a way for you to host current Fulbright visiting scholars in the U.S. for a 2 to 6 day lectureship. It's a way to, of course, internationalize your campus with a special guest in that time frame. You can find more information at fulbrightscholars.org/OLF. But really, again, it's a great way to bring any visiting scholar in the country to your particular institution. Lastly, I want to note the Fulbright Language Teaching Assistant Program. If anyone is on here in a area studies or a language department, this is a great way to have a native speaker come and be a teaching assistant in your classroom. For more information, go to foreign.fulbrightonline.org. Some other programs to note, of course, we have the Fulbright Hays Group Projects Abroad, as well as the Specialist Program. the Fulbright Specialist program is unique in the sense that you're on a roster for 3 years. And if you are selected and matched with the host institution, it's a 2 to 6 week experience. It's unique because it is host institution driven. So fundamentally, it's the host institutions that are then matched with people who are on the roster. Again, go to Fulbright Specialist or reach out if you simply Google Fulbright Specialist. Our colleagues at World Learning host that particular program, and you can find more information on their website. For students, we do have the Fulbright U.S. student program, which will be opening the end of March, beginning of April. That program will be opening soon, so it allows students to either do an open study award or to do an English teaching assistantship. If you have folks who are doing their dissertation research, we do have the Fulbright Hayes Doctoral Dissertation Research Abroad program, which is through the Department of Education. And if you know K through 12 teachers, we have several different exchange opportunities for them through Fulbright, the Teachers for Global Classrooms, the Group Projects Abroad, and the Distinguished Award in Teaching Research Program. Again, really great opportunities for you. All right, so ways to stay connected with Fulbright. As Claire is your Fulbright liaison, feel free to reach out to her with any questions. As I noted before, please visit FulbrightScholars.org to learn more about the program. And it is possible to refer your colleagues. If you think there's someone that would be a great Fulbrighter, a Fulbright Scholar that is, we do have that link on our website. You can simply input their name, their institution, and their email, and they'll receive an anonymous message from us saying that you've been referred. If you would like more information, you're welcome to visit the Fulbright Scholars Program. Of course, we do have social media as well. If you want to follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, or LinkedIn, you're welcome to do so for more information and inspiration. All right. With that, I do want to turn it over to colleagues. If you have any questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat or to unmute themselves, and I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Keegan. This is very useful.
Great. Thank you, Swapna.
Let's see if there's any questions, either in the chat or otherwise.
I have questions, if I may. Thanks for all the info. So just clarifying, are you able to apply for the Fulbright Scholar Award and the Public Policy Fellowship at the same time, or you can just select one?
Yeah, thank you for that question and clarification, Jorge. So in short, the Fulbright Public Policy Fellowship is a specific award within the Scholar Awards. So it's only possible to apply to either one of the broader Fulbright Scholar Awards or the Fulbright Public Policy Fellowship. You cannot apply for both.
Got it. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Jorge. I did receive a question in the chat about librarians. Do librarians receive ever receive Fulbrights? And the answer is yes. So I will give me a moment as I stop sharing my screen, and I will bring up the website, because we do have some really great resources for everyone on the call that would be helpful for you to learn more about what's possible with Fulbright. So give me one moment here as I shuffle things about. So not only for folks within library sciences, but can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Claire. So if you go to FulbrightScholars.org, which will soon be your favorite website, this is where we have, this is the one-stop shop for all information. If you're looking, if you're interested in learning more about, particular opportunities and past projects, I encourage you to go under Connect to the Scholar Directory. So this is where we house the alum database all the way from 1946. So when you go here, firstly select a program, which would be the Fulbright U.S. Scholar Program. And then you can select by discipline. So give it a moment. And for this, you can see library sciences. So you can then see, and of course you can search by program, country, institution, and so on. But if you search from the most recent ones, you can see that people in library sciences have been doing projects. And there have been some, certainly this year. So if we went to, let's see what Innocence Project was in Zimbabwe. Scholarly communications patterns within the STEM community in select universities in Zimbabwe. And you have more information about the award they applied to. This is the Zimbabwe All Disciplines Award, when they went, what was their institution, and as well as what was their home institution. And of course, we don't have contact information, but you can reach out to them and say, hi, Innocent, I see that you did a particular project in Zimbabwe in library science. What was your experience like? Do you have contacts that I could speak with? This is a really great way to, make those institutional contacts, especially if you don't have them. So again, I really encourage folks to play around with the Fulbright's Scholar Directory. And just again, like I said, we have a lot of, I will show the award search. You can filter, of course, by discipline. So, you can search by library science as well. And you'll see that, we only have 11 awards which are specifically looking for library sciences, but we have over 206 awards that are in all disciplines, which include, of course, library sciences. So again, filter by discipline and see what opportunities present themselves, and then go from there. We have this, I do want to note, for whoever, the librarian in the room, we have the Fulbright British Library Clay Center Scholar Award in Library and Information Studies. So that might be a very interesting opportunity for you. Great. I see another question here. Oh, well, that was just nice. Thank you, Rachel. Great. Well, if you have any other questions, I'm happy to ask them. This is your time.
This is just curiosity. The All Disciplines Award, does the university then decide which disciplines or which applicants are more important to them? How does that work typically in the host country?
Yeah, so recommended. So in short, recommended, the in-country reviewers will receive those applications, right? The recommended applications. And obviously it will come from a variety of different disciplines. But this is why in our review criteria, we talk about both feasibility and impact, right? Obviously it's difficult to measure apples and oranges. But in this case, we always encourage applicants to really think about their field of, are you making an impact within your field, your community, as well as your home community, to see, some projects will be stronger because of their impact. I really encourage folks to really think creatively about impact, right? Are there ways that you can make those long-standing linkages? And I think that's why, that's a really important part that comes through. But again, they look at the same review criteria. It's not easy, right? I mean, I think, as you noted, Swap, now we do our best to centralize all these countries and all their interests into one place. So it's not a great answer, but I hope it is an answer.
No, that's very helpful, because when one sees all disciplines, one wonders, right, how to what extent the application will become competitive compared to the others. So.
Yeah, of course, that's a great question. And this is why, too, I always encourage, of course, most countries only have one all disciplines award for that particular place. And sometimes they may list preferences. It might not be the case. Most all disciplines awards are open to all disciplines, because they may say, wow, this is a really great project that is not within our preferences, and it's really strong, right? I think applicants themselves know their projects the best, which is why we encourage them to think really about how to make sure they're maximizing, their capacity as a Fulbright's, ambassador, and researcher, lecturer, so on.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Swapna. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I might head out here, Claire, as I do need to eventually eat lunch today. But I do want to thank everyone, of course, for your time. As I noted before, feel free to visit FulbrightScholars.org for more information. We have office hours, we have webinars in discipline-specific fields. And of course, our website has a host of great things. If Claire doesn't necessarily know the answer, I'm certain that Claire can reach out to me and I will be able to find an answer. So thank you again for your time, and hopefully we'll see some more applications from Florida.
Thank you, Keegan, and thank you everyone for joining us. Like Keegan said, if you have questions, just reach out to me.